On March 6, 2026, Russia started secretly feeding the exact coordinates of American warships to Iran. Why? Because the real war isn't in the Middle East. America is spending $900 million a day in the Persian Gulf. Its carriers dominate the sea. Its bombers destroyed Iran's nuclear sites. By every tactical measure, America is winning. But while America was looking at Iran, China quietly stockpiled 1.4 billion barrels of oil. Russia's budget is filling up at $126 per barrel. And Taiwan just became the most vulnerable it has been in 20 years. The Persian Gulf, $900 million a day, carriers deployed, precision munitions burning at an unprecedented rate. Ukraine, billions in annual military aid, political pressure mounting in Washington to reduce commitments. Taiwan Strait, America's highest priority scenario for the next decade, now receiving fewer resources and less political attention than at any point in 5 years. The United States military has a finite budget, finite munitions, stocks, and finite political bandwidth. Every interceptor missile spent in the Gulf is one not available for Taiwan. Every carrier in the Arabian Sea is a carrier not in the Pacific. China and Russia understand this arithmetic. They have been doing the math for months. And the math tells them the same thing. Keep America focused on the Gulf. Russia's contribution to this war is invisible on the battlefield, but decisive in the intelligence picture. On March 6, 2026, The Washington Post reported, citing 3 senior American officials, that Russia has been providing Iran with the precise locations of U.S. warships and aircraft operating across the Middle East. The satellite doing this is Russia's Canopus V, transferred to Iranian operational use and redesignated Khayyam. It provides Tehran with round-the-clock imagery Iran could never generate on its own. Iran's missile batteries are not targeting American ships by guesswork. They are targeting them by coordinates. Putin denied this in a call with Trump. The denial changes nothing. The intelligence is confirmed flowing. The logic is straightforward. Iran provided Russia with drones for Ukraine. Russia is providing Iran with eyes for the Gulf. The transaction is running in both directions. China's involvement is quieter and in some ways more consequential. In 2021, China gave Iran full military access to its BeiDou 3 satellite navigation system, the Chinese GPS, encrypted and inaccessible to American jamming. Iran's drones and missiles may be navigating on Chinese coordinates. China also supplied Iran with the YLC-8B anti-stealth radar, a UHF-band system specifically designed to reduce the effectiveness of the radar-absorbent coatings on American stealth aircraft. But China's most valuable contribution is not the weapons, it is the intelligence collection. China has deployed a spy ship to the Persian Gulf. It is recording every U.S. naval engagement, every intercept, every miss, every radar signature, every electronic emission. China is using this conflict as a live-fire laboratory to understand precisely how American carrier groups respond under saturation attack. The scenario China cares about most, a war over Taiwan, involves exactly this kind of engagement. And China is watching it happen in real time, at America's expense. Before the first bomb fell, China was already preparing. In January and February 2026, China's crude oil imports surged 15.8% year-over-year. Beijing was stockpiling. By the time Operation Epic Fury launched, China had accumulated between 1.3 and 1.4 billion barrels, enough to cover approximately 4 months of imports, even if Hormuz closed completely. Compare that to everyone else. Japan rationing power. South Korea imposing its first fuel cap in 3 decades. India invoking emergency powers. Bangladesh closing universities and stationing troops at oil depots. China watching all of it from behind 4 months of cushion. And Chinese ships are still sailing through the Strait of Hormuz because Iran explicitly closed the strait only to American, Israeli, and Western allied vessels. Chinese ships are not Western allied. Oil was trading at $60 a barrel at the start of 2026. On March 9th, it surpassed $100. At its peak, it hit $126 per barrel. Russia is one of the world's largest oil exporters. Every dollar increase in the oil price adds directly to Russian government revenue. The war that costs America $900 million a day is simultaneously generating a windfall that funds Russia's war in Ukraine. Russia increased oil exports to China by approximately 300,000 barrels per day in January and February 2026, filling part of the gap left by disrupted Iranian supplies. Russia is not just watching this war. Russia is profiting from it at a rate that partially offsets the economic pressure America designed Ukraine support to create. Find Taiwan on this map. 180 kilometers of water between mainland China and the island. China has been building toward the capability to cross it by force for 20 years. American deterrence depends on carrier groups positioned in the Pacific. Now count the carriers in the Pacific. A Heritage Foundation report published before the Iran war started warned that U.S. high-end interceptors SM-3, SM-6, Patriot PAC-3, THAAD would likely be exhausted within days of sustained combat, with some systems depleted after just 2 to 3 major PLA salvos. Aggregate U.S. vertical launch system inventories, insufficient for even one full fleet reload. China is watching those stockpiles drain in the Gulf in real time. Every Tomahawk fired at Iran. Every THAAD interceptor against Iranian ballistic missiles. Every SM-6 defending Gulf state cities. That inventory cannot be reloaded in weeks. It takes months to years. The window China has been waiting for is open in a way it has not been since the Korean War. This is why China and Russia will never actually join the fight. The 2026 Trilateral Pact was not an alliance. It was a trap, and Iran is in it. China and Russia are letting Iran burn through America's weapons, specifically so Taiwan is left defenseless. Every Iranian ballistic missile that forces America to expend a THAAD interceptor is a THAAD interceptor that does not exist when China decides to move. Every Tomahawk fired at a nuclear site is a Tomahawk that cannot be reloaded before a Taiwan crisis. Iran is doing the depleting, so China does not have to. Russia's role is the same calculus at a different scale. Russia receives Iranian drones that extend its campaign in Ukraine. Russia provides satellite intelligence that helps Iran survive long enough to keep draining American munitions. Russia profits from the oil price spike the war generates. Iran bleeds. Russia wins. When American and Israeli forces struck Iranian territory, neither Russia nor China invoked any mutual defense obligation. Iran fought alone, because Iran was always meant to fight alone. It is not a partner in this alliance. It is the instrument, strategic parasites, and Iran is the host. So, who is actually winning? The honest answer depends on which game you are watching. If the game is destroying Iran's nuclear program, America is winning. Natanz, Fordo, and Arak have been struck. Iran's enrichment capability is significantly set back. If the game is economic endurance, the result is more ambiguous. America is spending $16.5 billion in 12 days. Iran's economy was already under maximum pressure for decades. If the game is global energy, Russia is winning. Oil at $126 per barrel funds a war that American policy was designed to end. America is inadvertently subsidizing the adversary it is trying to exhaust. If the game is strategic positioning for the next decade, China is playing the most sophisticated hand on this map. Buying discounted Iranian oil, studying American carrier behavior under real combat, watching American munitions deplete, timing the Taiwan window. There is no clean winner here. But the map makes clear who is operating by design and who is reacting to events. America went into this war to solve a specific problem. On that narrow objective, eliminating Iran's nuclear capability, it is succeeding. But geography does not solve problems in isolation. Every move on one square changes the position on every other. The resources consumed in the Gulf are resources not available for the Pacific. The intelligence lessons Russia and China are drawing from this conflict will be applied in confrontations America has not yet planned for. America is winning the battle it chose to fight. Whether it is winning the larger game It did not choose that answer depends on which map you are looking at, and on whether the window that just opened over Taiwan stays open or gets used. Subscribe. The map is already drawn.